Hi, I'm Allie with Potomac Beads. Join me in doing this simple right angle weave layered pearl bracelet. I thought it's nice to go back to the basics, show you things that you already probably have all the materials, and make a beautiful design that can be turned into earrings, necklace, or like a bracelet. So to begin this design, I have 4mm white pearls along with 8/0 Toho seed beads in the Starlight color, the Perma Finish. And then I have some 6/0s ready and waiting for the top. I also have a nice Clasp Garden pearl clasp to fit correctly with it. And then also when we get to it, some 15/0s in Miyuki in the silver lined gold. We're gonna begin with some 0.006 Dragonthread, and I have one of the big eye needles on here. About 5 feet of thread, and then at the very end, I have my stop bead. So this is going to be a nice lesson in right angle weave. We are going to pick up and do 4 of our pearls with a 8/0 seed bead in between. So we're doing pearl, 8/0 pearl, 8/0, one more pearl, and then finishing with an 8/0. Let that all drop down next to your stop thread, or sorry, your stop bead, and then we're going to sew back through 3 pearls and also the seed beads that are between. So I'm going to take my thread and needle back through, going from the stop bead toward that 3rd pearl all the way out till I'm through those 3 pearls, not through the 8/0 seed bead after. That's going to give me my first right angle weave unit right there. That beads the bottom, top, left, right. From here, we are going to add on to that, and add on to that by adding a whole nother row of that same design. The next row of the same design, we're going to add 3 pearls. What is going to happen is that the right-hand side of this little right angle weave box is going to become the left side of the next one. So we're going to add an 8/0 to separate out from the next pearl, then an 8, then a pearl, and then an 8, followed by a pearl, and then you guessed it, followed by an 8. So we're putting on 3 pearls with 1 8/0 between each as well as on each end. That's because we're coming out of a pearl and we're going to go back into that pearl. So you're going to go from the threads coming out the bottom, right angle weave, it's going to switch with every box. Right now we're going out the bottom, coming into the top. When I pull this then, we're going to make that next box. Now obviously to connect and make my 3rd box, I need to get to the right side. You're always going to need to get to the right side of the box that you're currently working on. So I'm going to go through my 8/0, through my pearl, and then once again through my pearl on the right side. So remember last time I was coming out the bottom of my box, now I'm coming out the top of my box. We're going to repeat again, and then we're just on autopilot. If you ever have trouble with any of the steps, always remember you can go back, slow the video down, rewatch different sections, and even check out some of my other right angle weave videos. From here we have that same pattern on with the 3 pearls with a seed bead before and after each. Let that drop down next to our piece. Thread is coming out the top this time, sewing into the bottom of the right side of that last box, which as I sew into that and add my new beads, becomes the left side of the new box. Now this time I'm going to sew through the top because I'm tracing my thread ends in big figure 8s. Go through that 8, the pearl, the 8, and then down through the pearl again. So you're always once again coming out that right hand box. You can see this is going to form the foundation of my bracelet. It's also just a really pretty bracelet that you don't have to put the embellishments on the top of. I'm going to build this entire base, and don't worry, when you're adding the beads on top, it really doesn't shrink. We're going to keep going with our right angle weave units, and then we're going to attach one side of our clasp before coming back and adding the embellishment of the larger pearl on top. Once you have your base done, and I have about 15 for my wrist, which is going to be about a 7-inch bracelet, I'm getting ready to do my clasp or my closure. I took my little tongue out of my clasp and I'm just going to attach one side. Coming out my last right angle unit, I'm going to add 1 of my 8/0 seed beads, followed by 3 of my 15/0s. And remember, I'm using that silver lined gold color. I already put my wire guard into my clasp because sometimes I forget to put on the clasp, so it's always a good idea to do that ahead of time. I'm going to go up through the wire guard through that clasp, loop, and then down through the wire guard on the other side. Once I'm out the wire guard on the other side, I'm going to repeat that same pattern. So 3 15s, followed by 1 8, followed by myself going through the pearl from the opposite side, just like right angle weave. Whenever you have a clasp or closure, you always want to make sure that you reinforce that. So we're going to go back through that entire thing 2 more times, going back through the seed beads, back through the wire guard, up through the clasp, etc. Once I'm done through with those 2 more passes, then I'm going to be back at this first pearl, ready to go to add in my 6mm pearls on top. So from here, now that we have our thread reinforced at our clasp, we're going to go back down through the right angle weave and add our embellishment. So our embellishment is going to be another pearl on top, hence the layered pearls. And I'm through that first pearl and the box. I'm putting my bracelet now in a position where I'm heading up the design. I have my 15 O's and I have my pearls ready to go. I want to start by coming and going through the sides of the piece rather than through the top and bottom when we turn it to the side. How you start and add the embellishment and where you start your thread is going to affect how it sits. So if I start my thread and I'm coming out of this first pearl here, it's going to sit a little bit more on a diagonal with the thread. I want the hole to sit lateral up and down, so I'm going to come out one of the sides here, including that 8 OC bead. So I'm going up through the side. I'm going to add 1, 2, and 3 of my 15 OC bead, pick up my 6mm pearl, also in the white color, followed by 3 seed beads. I'm going to take this then, and we are going to put it in to that same exact 3 beads. So just like we were doing with the right angle weave where we're coming out the top, we go into the bottom, we're going to do the same thing here. And that's going to put it kind of over to the side. From here, I'm going to go through the middle bead, or the top of that right angle weave, go down through the left-hand side, and then we're going to pull the pearl into the middle by adding in some 15 O's. So 1, 2, 3 15 O's through the pearl again. Once we're through that pearl again, we're going to add 3 more 15 O's, and then once again come down through that side. So I like this form of embellishment because it's the way the pearls sit that I like, but also in addition to that, it really reinforces that base because you're going back through it several times. So you can see it almost looks like it's cushioning or holding in the pearl there. From there, we're going to go back through the right angle weave. So you're going back through that base pearl. You're going to go up through the right side again. We're going to go through the middle pearl, and then we're going to do the same thing. So this time we're going to be on the left-hand side, going through that left side, which is the 8 pearl 8, adding in our 3 seed beads, adding in my pearl, followed by 3 more seed beads, and then since I'm coming out the top of that left side, I'm going to go into the bottom of that left side. Reinforcing, stabilizing it, making it have a really nice feel. We're going to go through that pearl on the top, over to the right-hand side, down through the beads on the right side, and we are going to repeat those 3 seed beads, and then we're going to go through our pearl, bringing it toward the center. Now I could be going on a diagonal, then coming through, then on a diagonal again, but again, it's how you want your embellishment to sit is going to affect which pearls you come out of or go into as you're adding this. From here, after those 3 pearls, once again, I go into the right side, or sorry, those 3 seed beads, go into the right side, the seed beads and the pearls, go through that base pearl, so you're reinforcing that right angle weave, up through the left side, which we started with first, over through the pearl, and then once again up through the right hand side. and I'm ready to embellish and put on my pearls. So you can see how nice that sits and looks almost like it's cupped right in there. So go ahead and continue adding in that second layer of pearls to the top of the piece, and the clasp matches exactly. And we're going to add in those rest of those 15 pearls on top of my units. Once you're done with your layered pearl, it's time to add the clasp. And to add the clasp, I've already done some of it, adding in after coming out of my last pearl, just like I did with the pearl clasp side on the other. I'm adding my tongue with 1/8 3 seed beads through my wire guard, my tongue back down my wire guard, and then again 3 seed beads and 1/8. I did take off my stop bead just so it wasn't in the way there. I'm going to go in here and get that situated, and then once again, go ahead and reinforce. Because I'm using the white dragon thread with white pearls, I'm going to have an easy opportunity to knot off this thread. So I'm going to go through the pearl here, pulling that tight, pulling those 8/0s a little bit closer to the sides of the pearl, grab my 2 thread ends, and you'll notice I did not take off my big eye needle yet. I'm going to do 2-3 knots. Keep that one strand there, and then I'll take my big eye needle and go back through the design just a tiny bit, back through that right angle weave. That'll give me the opportunity when you cut the thread or burn the thread, that the thread ends will actually be ending in different locations, so they won't be right next to one another. Which then if you do burn it, you do not have a section where it is balled up. You want to make sure after you finish and that you burn, that you are burning the correct threads and not burning your piece. So I like to, as I burn, bring it back to the back of the piece, so that way I'm not into the interior of the design. Burn that off, and then burn that down. Once I have that done here, I'll do the same thing on this side. Putting on here, pulling the thread, going right over top of it, seeing that little tail, pressing the button down to heat it up, and then burning down, making sure I'm not catching on to any of my other threads. That's going to complete my layered pearl bracelet, and you can see how nice that clasp does go along with the design. This also, like I said in the intro, does great for necklaces as well as earring designs if you just want to do one right angle unit, or if you want to do a couple that are hanging down. Again, I love this form of embellishment going from one side to the other side, because it really, the bracelet feels great. It's really stable and it holds really well together. You can see here how it would look in a necklace design. That right angle weave allows for that easy bend and curvature to happen. Thanks so much for joining me. Remember, you can always subscribe to this YouTube channel so you don't miss any of these amazing inspirational videos. You can also help out other Potomac beaders by commenting below with any changes, ideas, or switches that you made to make the design better. Remember also, you can post your pictures in our Facebook group for beading and jewelry making. I love seeing other people's examples and how they changed up designs. Thanks so much for watching, and then stay tuned for the next inspirational video.